On the night of May 13th, a video started going viral on social media. It was a rather murky video. In it, you could see a young blonde girl sitting with a pig plush toy in her hand. She seemed to be talking to someone off camera. She looked carefree, chatting with this person, but suddenly something happens. She touches her chest as if searching for something that struck her. She puts her hands on her abdomen and immediately receives what appears to be 1 or 2 bullet impacts to the head. And she falls lifeless. In the final moment, a woman is seen grabbing the phone and ending the live TikTok broadcast. The images went viral instantly, raising questions about the woman's identity.
Why had she been executed like that? Who was the one who ended the live broadcast?
Just as the questions arose, so did the answers, but not all of them. To this day, there are still many left to be resolved. The name Valeria Márquez appeared instantly, and her networks went viral right away, as always happens when something happens to an influencer. At the moment the incident went viral, I made a live reaction video of how the case was blowing up on TikTok and Twitter. Obviously, having done it so quickly, there were details that were not correct, and several doubts that arose that were answered over the course of hours. And that's why I'm putting together this new video where I will correct those details and provide new ones that have now emerged. I also invite you to watch the video we uploaded to the Para Nada Normal channel, which I produce, that provided many certainties on the matter. I'm going to leave the link at the end. Write any additional data you want to contribute in the comments below. If this video surpasses 10,000 likes in a day, we will continue with a third part. If not, we will continue with our usual videos. Let's start. The influencer who was executed live was named Valeria Márquez. She was 23 years old and was from Jalisco, in Mexico. In recent years, she had a rapid social rise, to the point that she was the owner of a beauty salon called Blossom the Beauty Lounge in Zapopan, Jalisco. That's where death would find her. Many had questioned the origin of the funds for the life she led, or at least what she showed on social networks. Traveling on private jets, branded clothes and accessories, lots of parties and social presence. Some immediately associated this easy access to money with a direct connection to drug trafficking. They began to say that he had relationships with different drug lords. Like, for example, Ricardo Ruiz, alias RR, leader of the cartel Jalisco Nueva Generación group, who was later pointed out as one of the main suspects of the crime. Others said that the money Valeria handled was perfectly justified, as she had been working from a young age in advertising agencies, and as a model, even appearing in music videos like Hoy La Vi Pasar by Epi Jean Guzman. Likewise, she had been awarded several prizes in her life, among them the Miss Face in 2021. The truth is that Valeria didn't just stay with awards or modeling jobs, but quickly decided to embark on a path on social networks. That's how she started updating her Instagram daily, where she got to have 70,000 followers, and her TikTok, where she reached 90,000. Obviously, after that infamous live where she was executed, her numbers multiplied, driven by morbid curiosity, so her accounts were quickly taken down by the authorities. In addition to that, as we already said, she started her beauty salon, where she offered facial treatments, manicures, hair removal, and other services. Some suggest that this salon was actually a front, just an excuse to launder money from drug trafficking. But this theory is not approved to this day. From that very place, she broadcasted daily from her TikTok account, and while chatting with her followers, she showed off her outfits and the exchanges that came her way, from brands and sponsors. She had several collaborators working with her, and at the time of the incident, one of these collaborators was by her side. Now we're going to focus on this character for a while. It was Tuesday, May 13th, 2025, at 6:25 in the evening. Valeria was sitting in one of the chairs in her beauty salon. In fact, the name of the place could be clearly read behind her. She wore a low-cut fuchsia bodysuit. That same day, she had posted a photo showing her outfit, which she complemented with white pants. She had started live streaming not long ago, and several things had happened during the course of the broadcast. First, her collaborator and employee named Erica had pointed out that a man with a bag of star-shaped items had passed by several times asking for her. He promised to return later since she was absent. In response to this, Valeria commented saying that maybe they were looking for her to kill her. After that, she began to receive various items allegedly sent on purpose to keep her in place and to prevent her from leaving. First it was a Starbucks coffee and then a pig-shaped stuffed animal. None of these gifts were credited to anyone. In fact, her employee suggested that they might be from an anonymous admirer. The gesture is sweet, but something doesn't add up. Her face for a brief second seems tense. She looks towards the door with some unease. Meanwhile, she receives a message from a friend of hers, Vivi, telling her to stay there, that she is about to receive an expensive gift. She is uneasy, she doesn't want to stay, but she listens to her friend and doesn't move from the spot. Then a man with a helmet comes in. He asks her if she is Valeria. She responds yes, and silences the audio of the transmission. Immediately after, the man pulls out a gun and shoots her, first in the chest. She instinctively puts her hands there, as if trying to process what happened, and then another fatal shot to the head. Some noted there were 3 in total, 1 in the chest and 2 in the head. The truth is that they slowly collapse onto the glass table, which quickly becomes stained with blood. He never lets go of the piggy plush toy. It's at that moment when his employee appears on camera, taking the cell phone and cutting off the transmission, with a coldness that raises certain doubts. His followers initially thought it was a joke, a marketing strategy, a short film to gain more followers, but it wasn't. They had witnessed a real murder live. Within minutes, the video spread rapidly on Twitter, Facebook, news channels, and Telegram groups. The crime of Valeria Márquez went massively viral. As authorities began an online investigation, theories, suspicions, and parallel judgments were already circulating. Some spoke of a crime of passion, others of a message from organized crime. But beyond the versions, something was undeniable. The murder had occurred in the middle of a commercial area, in broad daylight and in front of dozens of virtual witnesses. The Jalisco Attorney General's office launched an investigation but omitted crucial information. At the judicial level, a file was opened under the label of femicide, although without clear clues about the motive or the identity of the shooter. Upon reviewing her previous posts, many internet users noticed something disturbing. In that same broadcast, Valeria jokingly said, "Maybe they were going to kill or kidnap me, or what?" It was a loose phrase, seemingly ironic, but with a worrying undertone. Also, in a previous story, she had written a more aggressive phrase, "Mom, be thankful that I'm poor, because if I were rich, I would have already made you disappear." Words that, in the context of the crime, were reinterpreted as possible veiled threats. Another influencer, Vivian de la Torre, was also mentioned, who supposedly had promised her an expensive gift that same day. Some thought the stuffed animal and coffee were the entire gift, but Valeria seemed to expect something else. Some noted possible complicity between Vivian and Valeria's employee, who ultimately ends the livestream. Was there a betrayal, a hidden rivalry, a conflict with third parties in the influencer environment? Vivian denied involvement in the murder, closed her social media comments, and requested respect. So far, she has not been formally summoned by the prosecutor's office. Another person implicated was her ex, whom Valeria had previously accused on social media of threatening her. Her connections with drug traffickers and the mafia were also discussed. Also, obviously, memes appeared pointing to a sports journalist known as El Chulazo as Valeria's alleged boyfriend. In my first video, I read a tweet about this, and since I didn't know the journalist, I took it as real. Even he ended up commenting on this and saying that it wasn't funny to point him out because his life could be at risk. Witnesses say the attacker was a young man who arrived at the salon on a motorcycle. He posed as a delivery man and insisted that only Valeria could receive the package. He had been there days before, but he never found her. That afternoon she was there, he entered, asked for her name and shot. And then he escaped. There are no clear images of the subject, but security cameras in the area may have recorded part of the escape. It remains unclear if he acted alone or was hired. However, he clearly knew his target. The cruelest aspect is that this case is not isolated. In recent months, several influencers, activists, and public figures have been murdered in Mexico. Violence does not distinguish professions, and social media, far from protecting, sometimes exposes. Valeria avoided discussing politics, attending parties with criminals, and posting about weapons or illegal luxuries. But her proximity to certain people and her growing fame could have been enough to put her in someone's crosshairs. Organized crime, jealousy, revenge, the dark ties of public life, all of this mixes in this case, and there are still no answers. Valeria Márquez was 23 years old. She dreamed of being successful, of leaving a mark, and she did, but not as she imagined. Her story is today a symbol of an era where fame can become a sentence, and where the screen that shows us can also seal our fate. Remember her case. Don't let it become just another statistic. Because Valeria's crime was not just an attack on an influencer, it was a message, one that no one has yet fully deciphered. And now, if you're interested in learning more about this case, I invite you to watch the video that came out on the Para Nada Normal channel. A channel that I produce. I'm not narrating, but simply dedicating myself to producing that channel. And you might be interested in what we upload there.